Ever wanted to play the original Devil May Cry but weren't sure if it was really worth your time? To answer that question, we'll take a deep dive into the good and the bad of the presentation and the gameplay, so you can make an educated decision on if this game is actually worth putting on your backlog. Did you know that Devil May Cry was originally supposed to be Resident Evil 4, but got changed to be a standalone title because it strayed too far from traditional Resident Evil games? Well, it's not really a secret, but if you didn't, now you do, so you're welcome. What's good, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Backlog Project, where we play through a gigantic list of games to find out which of them are worth putting onto your backlog. Today, we're checking out Devil May Cry, a 2001 action game by Hideki Kamiya, who also worked on Resident Evil 2 and would later become known for titles such as Beautiful Joe, Okami, or Bayonetta, being considered among the greatest games of all time. It really isn't a question if this game is good or not. Rather, the question we'll be asking today is, does the devil cry, or does he not? I'm sorry, I couldn't resist the real question is the backlog thing. I do want to know though, because I don't get the name. If you like corny action movies, you will love this game. Let me show you why. It starts off with some basic dark fantasy backstory about the Dark Knight Sparta that protected the human realm by defeating the demons of the underworld. A woman dressed in black, wearing sunglasses in the night, jumps out of the moon and goes to the Devil May... Oh my god, that's where the title of the game comes from, where we finally see our protagonist, Dante. Cool guy in a long red coat sitting in his shop that is as 2000s cool as it can get. There's swords everywhere, skulls of his defeated demon adversaries, and even a random set of drums. The woman breaks through the front door with a motorcycle. Where the fuck did she get that? They have some trash talk which sets up Dante as the son of Sparta and invincible, and a fight ensues that makes the whole joint go down in flames. See what I meant when I said that this is like a corny action movie? This is your typical turn off your brain and just let it happen kind of story. There's no depth to it and it doesn't want it to be. That's not to say this isn't enjoyable though. Kamiya once said that he wanted Dante to be a character that you'd like to go out drinking with, and I would totally be on board with that. The game follows Dante's exploration of a medieval castle on Malay Island, where Mundus, Lord of the Underworld, is supposedly setting up for an invasion, and Trish, the blonde chick from the intro cutscene, wants him stopped. Since Dante's whole family was killed by demons, he has more than enough reason to go along with this and search out Mundus. The game actually has a decently interesting lore that is told by inspecting books scattered everywhere in the levels, but the main story is just Dante fighting his way through lots of demons and a guy that looks suspiciously like Sparta, and the only real narrative comes from the last 20% of the game, which goes into heavy spoiler territory, so just go play the game if you're interested. There are two kinds of cutscenes in the game, pre-rendered and in-game. The former ones look like shit in the HD version, because they're not HD. Good thing there aren't a lot of them, and the in-game cutscenes look just like the game, pretty darn great. Sure, you can see that the game has a few years on its back, but it holds up pretty well, due to a strong art direction and cinematography. When the team decided on the game's setting, they went onto a 2-week trip to Europe to learn about Gothic architecture and religion, and it really shows. The castle looks eerie and impressive. There's religious statues and pictures everywhere, and you always get the feeling that at some point people were living here, but it all went terribly wrong. They opted to go for a fixed camera, which can be distracting at times when fighting, but in turn offers opportunities for a lot of amazing shots that look awe-inspiring even today. If you think Devil May Cry is known for its high adrenaline rock soundtrack, you'd be completely right. And hearing guitar riffs while stylishly cutting up demons is awesome, don't get me wrong. But what really stood out to me was the non-combat music and sound effects of the game. This might be one of the only things left from its early concepts as Resident Evil 4, and boy am I glad they kept it in. While combat is invigorating and exciting, exploration is always accompanied by creepy sounds of organs, strings, and weird chants and voices, making it seem like a horror game and giving the whole game a dynamic of two very different feelings constantly switching between each other. The voice acting is, let's say, passable. It's not bad, especially not for its time, but there is a certain stiffness to each line, and one line towards the end of the game is an absolutely infamous example for bad voice acting in games, so I will show it to you. If you don't want to be spoiled, skip forward to the gameplay chapter now. There, you've been warned.
I should have saved you. I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light!
Beautiful, isn't it? Especially that reverb. Literal perfection. Alright, we're about to get into the nitty-gritty of every action game. The gameplay. And that's what you're all here for, right? First, let me just say that if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below for more weekly reviews. Got a game you'd like me to review? Check out the list of games still to come and take part in the poll going on right now down in the description to have your favorite be the next one on the show. Also, for all of you subscribers out there, hit that bell icon down below to be notified on all the good stuff going on here on the channel. Holy macaroni, this game is fun to play. You can kind of feel the age, but this holds up amazingly well, even 20 years after its release. When Kamiya said he wanted to do a stylish action game, he really did mean exactly that. Controls are tight, enemies are tough to fight but almost never feel unfair, and the pacing between fighting, exploring, and solving puzzles is so good you never notice any kind of dissonance. Combat is where Devil May Cry really shines. Your goal is to kill all the enemies in any given room by slashing, punching, or shooting them. Sounds simple? Well, it is, but it's also a very deep combat system. While fighting, a rating is shown on screen that ranges from D for dull to S for stylish. And you don't want to be called dull, do you? Well, there's actually more of a practical use for these ratings, but we'll get to that in a second. You increase that rank by pulling off different combos without being hit or missing an attack because these reset your rating. There are tons of different attacks you can pull off by timing your button presses differently, switching between melee weapons and guns, and using button combinations for special moves. The game features 3 melee and 4 ranged weapons, each with their own unique attacks, combos, and specials. You can wear 1 melee and ranged weapon at any given time. They're changeable anytime through the menu, but not mid-combo. So there's a lot of potential combinations to find your unique style for slaying demons. Each of these also comes with upgrades in the form of new moves or attacks. They're unlocked by spending red orbs on them. And these are mainly gotten by scoring high in the aforementioned ratings. This results in you always trying to improve your combo game to reach better rankings, which in turn nets you more red orbs, which then in turn lets you get even more moves to do crazy combos with. There's also Devil Trigger, a state that you can activate after filling its respective bar by hitting and getting hit. Being in Devil Trigger makes your attacks deal more damage and harder to block, while also giving you health recovery while it's active. This can often get you out of a bad spot and is also just pretty cool to use in general, being as overpowered as it is. I think by now you should probably get why the gameplay is really fun. The game is split into 23 levels called missions, which basically means that you spend all your time in the same place, the castle and its surroundings, but have specific goals to achieve and places to go in each mission. Except, they usually aren't specified. These mission start screens are what you see between missions, and they tell you what your goal is in one very abstract sentence that usually only makes sense after you explore the level for a bit. Because of that, you always keep that mission statement in the back of your mind and think, okay, so what does it mean though? Until at some point, it clicks. This feels great because not only does the world feel more genuine, It also puts you more into the role of Dante. This is further enhanced by Dante having very few voice lines apart from some big cutscenes, and any exposition the game gives you, like when reading a book or trying to open a locked door, is strictly from his point of view. Other than the main missions, Devil May Cry also features 12 secret missions that are accessed by doing a specific thing at a specific point in a specific main mission. Rather specific, huh? Let's show you a quick example. To access the first secret mission, after you defeat the boss in mission 3, you have to go back to where you came from and jump into the water, which is something you previously wanted to avoid. This triggers the mission, which tasks you with killing the enemy in one shot with your gun. All secret missions are like that. You get a specific objective that, upon completion, rewards you with upgrades to your health bar. They're short, cool to find on accident, and give you a nice reward. But searching for all of them was a chore because the access conditions are super random. Once you finish the game, you can start New Game Plus, which puts you at the start of the main story with your previously found weapons and all of their upgrade, but ups the difficulty of the already pretty hard game to you only doing 33% of your normal damage to bosses and enemies hitting you for twice as much. Once you manage to clear this mode, you can do New Game Plus again for the even more difficult Dante Must Die mode, that now gives all enemies an enrage timer, making them significantly stronger if you don't kill them fast enough, and has bosses deal 5 times their normal damage to you. There are also some other changes like different enemy placement and behavior, or the fact that Devil Trigger is weaker the higher your difficulty goes, but the damage multipliers are by far the most brutal. These modes are very challenging, so if you like to really dig deep into what is a otherwise rather short game, the main story is only about 3 to 4 hours long, you're welcome to try. Just be warned that this will likely take you more than 10 times the initial playtime and really test your gaming skills. This also greatly increases replay value because the harder difficulties aren't just harder, they require you to play the game in a completely different way than you would on a normal playthrough. Clearing Dante Must Die mode rewards you with a special costume for Dante that gives him unlimited Devil Trigger, making this basically a god mode that allows you to slash through everything in the game with ease, as a reward for perfecting it first. Devil May Cry has slashed its way into my heart with its incredibly tight gameplay, a spectacular setting not often seen in games, and a so bad it's good kind of plot that I'm not likely to soon forget. It also turned out to be a prime example in how to do different difficulty settings in video games. Do you enjoy a good action game, or maybe a challenge once in a while? Or maybe you've already played some of the newer games in the series and wanted to check out its roots. Regardless of your reasons, the original Devil May Cry has definitely earned its place amongst the greatest video games of all time. And if you think of yourself as a gamer, you should go and play it right now. Have you played Devil May Cry before, or is it still rotting on your backlog? What did you like about it, or why haven't you gotten around to playing it yet? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and click right here to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you want to see more of the Backlog project, you can click right here for the whole playlist, or click this link for a video that YouTube thinks you should enjoy. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.